So Donald Trump kicked off his Middle East tour, starting off with Saudi Arabia. And on the surface, this trip looked like a typical Trump production. Gold-trimmed palaces, Arabian horses. There were F-15s that escorted alongside Air Force One while it landed. But what just happened in Saudi Arabia wasn't just about pomp and pageantry. It was actually a seismic shift, a turning point, in fact. Donald Trump, during his meeting, said some things that were quite extraordinary. First of all, he said one thing that I think shocked a lot of people, and that was to end sanctions on Syria. And this one I've got some mixed reactions to, but let's watch what he has to say.
I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness.
Okay, so huge reaction to that. You see everybody's standing up, giving a standing ovation, cheering. Why is that? Why did the Saudis care so much about the sanctions being lifted on Syria? It's because they want to get in there and they want to start building. They view this in a couple of different ways. They view this first as a stabilization attempt of the Middle East, which for them is very good. They want stable Middle East. This is a country that had been in civil war for over a decade. And it's now over, and they see this as a true, it's going to be over, and we're going to be stable. Secondly, they see this as a massive investment opportunity. They plan to get in there. They plan to get all of their businesses in and start building and making a lot of money in Syria. So that's actually a pretty big announcement that Trump is going to be ending the sanctions on Syria. Of course, what did it take? It took al-Qaeda taking over the country in order for the United States to somehow become friendly and amenable to Syria. All it took was, after 9/11, I mean, the irony of this, after 9/11, all it took was al-Qaeda gaining a country in order for the Middle East to be stabilized a bit more. So this one is a bit mixed. Obviously, we should have been doing this under Bashar al-Assad. We should have not been sanctioning and trying to topple countries and doing regime change. But now it's happened. Al-Qaeda's in, and the United States, with a big dose of irony, has decided to now normalize relations with an al-Qaeda-run country. But again, it's better for the Middle East. It's better for the people of Syria. Overall, it will be better. So we'll see. There's definitely some issues with the persecution, and people are being killed in Syria, and there's a lot of terrible things going on. And we'll try to talk deeper about what this means for Syria as the week goes on, or even into next week. Second thing that Trump said during his time in Riyadh is he alluded to potentially one day becoming allied with Iran.
Yet I'm here today not merely to condemn the past chaos of Iran's leaders, but to offer them a new path and a much better path toward a far better and more hopeful future. As I've shown repeatedly, I am willing to end past conflicts and forge new partnerships for a better and more stable world, even if our differences may be very profound, which obviously they are in the case of Iran. I have never believed in having permanent enemies. I am different than a lot of people think. I don't like permanent enemies, but sometimes you need enemies to do the job, and you have to do it right. Enemies get you motivated. In fact, some of the closest friends of the United States of America are nations we fought wars against in generations past, and now they're our friends and our allies.
Okay, so he does go on to talk more extensively about Iran in this speech, where he says they cannot have a nuclear weapon. He reiterated that several times over, that they cannot have a nuclear weapon. But in this portion of the speech, he does talk about, hey, look, they don't have to be enemies forever. We can work this out. We could even partner with them, just like we're now really close allies with Germany, for example, after fighting them in a war. So he's alluded to, look, in the future, we can maybe normalize things. That is also music to the Saudis' ears. They want to hear normalization, normalization, normalization. They want to hear ending conflict, ending all of these, just ending all of this in the Middle East. They want to end all of that. And maybe that's one of the reasons why Trump did not make a stop to Israel, because Israel has been very much the source of a lot of that fighting in the Middle East, causing the destabilization. And so maybe when he says, all right, this trip, and this is the first time he's done this, gone to the Middle East and not stopped off at Israel, not said hi to Netanyahu, not done the whole, here I am, your lackey boy, willing to do whatever it is you want. This is the first time that that's not happening. And maybe it was a big signal to those in the Middle East that, look, things are changing. We are going to stabilize, we are going to normalize, and we're not going to be allowing this rogue nation anymore to come and terrorize all of you. And instead, we're going to try to be friends and do some deals. But this is the next clip is what I really want to show you. And this is Trump torching the neocons of the past. Absolutely incredible to hear this, especially from an American president. Watch this.
And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves. Peace, prosperity, and progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage, but rather from embracing your national traditions and embracing that same heritage that you love so dearly.
Thank goodness. Finally, somebody saying it out loud, an American president saying it out loud, saying, all of those times we tried, it was a total failure. The neocons failed. This whole agenda of coming out, nation building, toppling, telling you how to live your lives, telling you how to run your countries. And he said, look, you have a prosperous nation, you have a prosperous region, and you did it. Not anybody, no one else did it. Not these liberal neocons coming in to rebuild your countries and tell you what to do. No, they didn't do it. They wasted a lot of money. They wasted a lot of time. They caused a lot of destruction. It was you, the people, you did it. And that is so great to hear an American president say that. It's about damn time, quite honestly, because that was obvious. It's obvious. Leave people alone. We don't need to be spreading liberal democracy. We don't need to be trying to tell people how to live their lives or what kind of systems they need to be living under. We just need to be leaving people alone, doing business deals and allowing prosperity, because prosperity, when nations are prosperous, they stop hindering their people. I mean, that people get held back and they end up suppressed and oppressed when their nations are flailing. But when they're prosperous, people gain rights. People become prosperous too, just right alongside their nation. So it's nice to hear an American president actually say that. It's great to hear Donald Trump torch the neocons right there in that speech. Love to hear it. Love to see it. Thanks for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show, which you can check out Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. The show airs live. It is a 1-hour live show Monday through Friday. Just head to KimIversonShow.com. See you there.